very much, Caroline. Now for the nerve-wracking part of the night for me. But yeah, I would like to start just by saying that as much as you might think that tonight is about me and my paintings, for me it's actually more about you and your response to the paintings in whatever way, shape or form that comes in. So I think whenever we show up somewhere to look at art, we allow art to do its job. And I think that the job of art is to provoke a response, to grant us a moment of pause in whatever's going on in our lives, and maybe to spark an emotion or possibly a memory, maybe even leave us with a sense of conviction to carry on into the rest of our day. And so looking around you, you might ask, well, what kind of a response are trees and leaves meant to elicit in me, Fiona? And well, since art is subjective, I can't really answer that from your perspective, but I can give you my perspective that came as I painted them. I didn't actually set out to do a collection of work that was about how life alters us. What I started with was just doing what I enjoy doing and painting what I like to paint, and that is trees and leaves. I like to get out in nature, I like to look at trees and the peculiarities of them and the way that, they're shaped and the things that mark them. And if something particularly strikes me, I like to have a crack at painting it. My painting process is not some instantaneous whack on a bit of colour and see what happens. There's a bit of thought that goes into it and a bit of planning. But once the high concentration stuff of drawing and composition and mapping out a painting and colour mixing, once that's sort of taken care of and I'm actually in the throes of painting, if conditions are right and if it's a really good painting day, then it's like my brain goes into autopilot and I can start thinking about things that have absolutely nothing to do with what I'm actually painting. And I think they call it a state of flow. And on days where I could achieve this state of flow, I found that I became aware that there was this correlation between my thoughts and the subjects of what I was painting. And it wasn't to do, in short, I found that what I was painting became personally relatable to me. And it had nothing to do with their height. Instead, I found that as I was perhaps painting the knots on trees where they had lost limbs, that my thoughts would turn to loss in my life. On a day where I was feeling particularly celebratory, it did feel like I could throw my limbs wide and bask in the sunshine. And as I struggled or wrestled with personal limitations, perhaps some self-doubt, frustrations, I could appreciate the twists in branches that were seeking sunlight and a way to ease their burden. But what particularly struck me, and this is why I choose eucalyptus trees to paint over other species, is the constant need of these trees to shed their bark in order to effectively grow. Not all of life's baggage needs to be held onto. Letting go and moving past things is essential for growth. So as odd as it may sound, I feel particular admiration for trees that have been so obviously knocked about by their environment and shaped by those hardships. And I also think they're made all the more interesting for it. And the same applies with the leaves that I sought out to paint. Whilst there is a fresh-faced beauty to a fallen leaf, it's the ones that have been around a little longer and that have both impacted and been impacted by their surroundings that resonate the most for me about life and the temporary contributions that we make to the world around us. So, now you've heard my rationale, what might resonate with you? Perhaps as you pause in front of one of these paintings, you might not just see a tree or a leaf, but perhaps perhaps you'll get a snapshot of life being lived out through all its seasons and circumstance. So a few words of gratitude before I let you browse. I would firstly like to thank God for his amazing creation, the abilities that he's given me, and the endless source of inspiration. He gives my life purpose beyond anything that art could on its own. I really want to thank Caroline and the team at Wild Island for a beautiful space and an astonishingly well put together show. I thank my family for putting up with a house that had every horizontal surface covered while I framed these paintings. And I thank all of you for coming along and for responding and reacting to my work. I hope that, you carry a little something of it away with you. Feel free to come and ask me questions if you have any. And to say hello if I've not met you. And enjoy the art.